Hi, Jen O'Donnell, Ariel. I have a lot of Parcc questions. I emailed all you guys and requested that you go online and take the sample third grade Parcc test. Did anyone do that?
I'm going to be honest, I cannot get into my email on the website. I forgot my password. I apologize.
Oh, well, then you've been missing all my emails.
I have been, and I apologize. I've had a lot going on right now, so that was not...
Since I can't come back on Monday nights for quite a while, I'll be sending emails. So if Mr. Bilodeau could work that out for you, that'd be really great.
I am having my password reset. So,
Okay.
But
So nobody
I've
went.
seen samples of it. I didn't go online to take the test, but
we went to
we've been to different things where we've gotten
Heard what's
examples
on
of
the test.
the questions.
I
I know
haven't.
it's,
But you didn't take the test.
I intend to take it before my son takes it, you know.
Did anyone research what parents and educators are saying about the test? I know that you listen to the School Board Association. Are you actually out there listening to what parents and educators are saying about the test?
I've been reading things that I've seen.
I have also.
Yeah.
When is the district going to take a stand on what we're going to do? I know Dr. Acerba put that letter in writing about what kids whose parents refuse them to take the test, what they will be doing, but different principals are waiting for direction from the board. And some principals are following, I assume, what Dr. Acerba's letter said. So should we just follow what Dr. Acerba's letter said? And could you put that out to all the principals?
go ahead.
Actually, Dr. Acerba's letter was written several weeks ago. At the then time, information we had at the then time that Dr. Acerba put together, she tried to advise principals on what they should do. I will tell you that there will be information coming out that will, in some respects, supersede that initial correspondence to what the principals in the building and then certainly the test proctors can and cannot do with regard to Parcc testing.
Okay, can you tell us what that is?
Well, I can tell you that the state of New Jersey, the commissioner and the authority under that commissioner, coupled with this board's policy, which states that we should follow the State Board of Education's doctrine when it comes to statewide assessment program, states that we will follow statewide.
And so what does that say?
Well, all students are going to be subjected to the Parcc assessment.
Okay, so I'm going to say that parents federally have a right to refuse their children to take the Parcc test. So what do you do with parents and children who are refusing to take the Parcc test?
Those parents that have sent in notifications will receive a written letter from me, which will state the board's position, my position, that they'll be subject to the test.
I would love to know in detail what that means, Mr. Bilodeau. This is a public meeting, and so I would much rather that there not be whispering up front. If you have something to say, please say it out loud publicly at the public meeting. You guys knew this was coming. You knew it was coming.
Well, I don't know what happened. I've certainly heard lots of conjecture about why people have anxieties over the test and what's subjected to their children. But for Gloucester Township Public Schools, students are going to be subject to the Parcc test.
Please tell me what that means, Mr. Bilodeau. When my child comes to school and you have a letter on file that says, I am refusing that my child takes that test, tell me what that means for my child.
There is no refusal proviso. However, if a student indicates to the proctor they won't be taking the test, they won't be subject to it.
So you're going to make it's my right as a parent to refuse, but you're going to make my 5th grader, 6th grader, 2nd grade, 1st grade child say it to someone else, say it to an adult. Do you think that that's fair? that a third grade student whose parent, has refused, you're going to make that child go to that room and say to an adult, I have to refuse this test.
Yes.
Do you know that that's harassment, intimidation, and bullying, Mr. Bilodeau?
That may be someone's opinion, but that's going to be the protocol as of this evening for those students on those park tests.
And then what happens after that child says, I refuse?
They will be brought to an area where they will be subject to, I believe, independent reading. We're going to have the students do.
Why would you put a child through that when you're just going to put him in another room to read anyway? Why would you do that to a child? That is cruel, Mr. Bilodeau. That is cruel.
Why would we do what?
Why would you make a child go into the testing room and say, I refuse, when you already know that their parents are refusing? Their parents are refusing, who have the right to do it. It's been decided in the federal court. The Supreme Court has ruled on it many times.
I'm letting you know that this district, those students are going to be brought to the test.
That's cruel.
Discreetly, privately.
Oh,
You said they would be brought in the room. I never said such a thing.
you're going to take them to the test site. Where's the test site? At their school? And who are they going to have to say, I refuse to?
To the proctor, administering the test.
That's really mean.
Well, that's going to be the protocol.
That's really mean.
That's an opinion.
Oh, I bet a lot of other people will have that opinion as well. That's really mean to put that on a child. You don't put adult conversations on children. You don't do it. It's mean. And is the board going to vote on this, or is that coming from you?
The board's been made aware of my position on it.
When is the board going to hear it, vote on it, and create a policy?
The board has a policy. It says to administer the Board of
I would love to see that policy, please.
I can tell you the policy number.
Great. And in that policy, does it say when parents refuse? Is that issue addressed in that policy that you have?
No.
Then you don't have a policy, Mr. Bilodeau.
Yes, we do. That this body has voted on. It says follow the State Board of Education's statewide assessment program. I'm the superintendent. I'm here to follow the board policy.
That's really
I'm
cruel.
also here to follow the Commissioner of Education's edict on what the state assessment program is.
That's really cruel.
With the student telling the proctor that they are not taking the test, does it have to be verbal or can it be written? Refusal to take the test. Either one.
I would suspect that the refusal would be verbalized.
Okay, but if let's say I send my son in down the line to take the test, and rather hands the proctor a note saying, I refuse to take it, is that fine? Because I think that should be an option for some kids that will not,
John, I think that's fine.
they can kind of hand something over.
I think that
for
would
it.
be acceptable.
Okay, thank you.
My question is for IEP students and the IEP refusal. It is my understanding that the state does not have an opt-out program. However, they do have as a parent, I can refuse. And with my children having a huge anxiety disorder, refusing to an adult is a big deal. So if I send a letter to the case manager that says that I do not want my children to take this test, I need to know that they are not going to be asked directly by an adult once, twice, or more than, because that is going to cause their stress level to go through the roof. So to me, that is harassment, intimidation, and bullying. Because as the adult, I have made that decision. And it is not their decision to make, it is mine. Not yours either. I am the parent. So I need a policy that's going to say exactly what I need to do and when that deadline is that I need to do it.
For those parents who sent in a notification, my letter does have language in there for students with special needs to contact their case manager for further discussion. But the state of New Jersey has no opt-out provision
You're
as
right,
of
they do not.
this meeting.
They do not.
So we're going to follow that.
And that is working to be changed, as we know, but
Sure,
as
sure.
of this moment.
Yeah.
But as a parent, I do have the right to refuse it.
You look confused, Mr. Bilodeau. Mr. Long, can you tell him the federal court cases and what the Supreme Court said, please?
Did anyone else want to speak before I let Mrs. O'Donnell speak again?
I don't want to speak. I want Mr. Long to speak right now.
Go ahead, continue your question.
All right, so the court case that you said to Mr. Bilodeau, he did forward me your email, talks about the parental right to raise their child as they see fit. So,
In regard to education.
well, the case that you cited dealt with parental visitations when the grandparent wanted to.
I don't think I sent you a specific case.
I thought you did.
No, I don't think I
Okay,
did.
maybe it was a different email, but.
I don't think I emailed you at all.
No, you emailed Mr.
Oh.
Bilodeau, who forwarded me.
Is
Yeah.
there a specific
emails.
case?
With respect.
There's many specific cases when it comes to education, many. So I have a question about children with IEPs where it is written in their IEP that they get standardized tests read to them. Will a human being be reading to them or will a computer be reading to them?
Yeah, it's what's in their IEP. It-
Okay, so never before have we had anything computerized like this. So if it says will be read to, then it's understood that it's by a human.
No, because there's a speech to text, text to speech option on the computer, so that's not necessarily true, but there is
On the old tests,
on the old test for paper. You can, an IEP student can get a paper test. If that's an
okay.
option.
If an IEP says it will be read to the student, because this is the first time we're doing this computerized, we have to assume if the IEP says it will be read to the student, we have to assume that that's going to be by a human being. Am I correct? Because
No, we
never
don't make
before.
No, we don't make assumptions. It would be very specific in the IEP.
There's a list of modifications that special needs students can have, and the case manager and the child study team go through and pick the appropriate ones for that child's needs. That's always done. Yeah, this is the first time a test has been administered by a computer. So I see your point. You would have to assume that if it was going to be read, because before that would have been the only option. But this test is very different. There's modifications that are already built in. Like there's, for example, there's extra time already built in where, say, in an IEP before, you had to specifically say in that child's IEP, they get extra time.
I understand that
So-
they'll have the extra time.
Yeah.
My concern is with the computer versus the human being. That's where my concern is.
It has not changed. Based on what the needs are of the child, they're going to make that decision.
It's not going to, IEPs are already done for the year, am I correct? They were done last year for this year?
Yeah, but modifications can be made anytime during the year. Yeah.
I'm curious as to how many parents with children with IEPs just don't know. They don't know what they don't know. Do you know what I mean?
I
Like,
totally know what you mean, but I would like to think, and you're right, not everybody understands their rights and knows their rights. That's absolutely true. However, if you have a child and you know that that would be an issue, whether it's an automated voice or being read to, just whatever you pick out, whatever the situation is, that parent is probably going to approach that case manager and get, specific details.
they're assuming. They're just assuming because the test was read to them last year, the test was read to them the year before. It's written in their IEP that the test is read to them. They are just assuming that it's going to be a human being reading that test to them. The fact that the computer can read the test to them never entered their mind because they just don't know what they don't know. That's why I'm asking.
No, I totally understand that. I get that. I get that.
And now that Mr. Bilodeau has really irritated me, I'm calling you out. And I'm doing it publicly. You stated in this room that you got the SRO breakdown on social media. And you said you got it like that day of the meeting. There is an Oprah that was done with emails to you in March 2014 with the breakdown of the SRO that you got from the township. And you neglected the board. Every one of them said, we didn't see anything, we didn't see anything, we didn't see anything. That was sent to you in March. I'm very disappointed that you don't read your emails. I'm going to chalk it up to that. I'm very disappointed, Mr. Bilodeau.
It was an email with an attachment, and you're accurate.
I know.
And I've seen some of the information going out on the Oprah, and I know I told the security committee that I said I didn't have it, and I only referenced the email, but there was an attachment, and yes, we did have it.
You don't get paid the big bucks to miss an attachment when it comes to $300,000 of taxpayer money. You've been spanked.
I'll try to do better.
Thank you.
Just for you, Mrs. Devine.
I know you do your best.